This is the Sony 100-400. I tested it extensively on Safari in Africa, along with the 1.4 teleconverter. But I was curious, how does it match up against the 2X teleconverter? So I took both with me, along with the 100-400, to the Arctic in search of polar bears. The 100-400 is an f4.5 to 5.6 lens, and it costs $2,498. The teleconverters each cost $548, and with the 1.4X, you get 140 to 560 lens and an f6.3 to f8. The 2X teleconverter, it becomes a 200 to 800 lens with an f9 to f11 aperture range. Both of these teleconverters are compatible with the Sony 70-200 f2.8 lens as well. Now the good news is the quality, even when these converters are attached, remains fantastic. I mean, yes, you're starting with a fantastic lens, but even in a great system like Canon with their 100-400 Mark II and their teleconverters being fairly modern, you see a noticeable impact in image quality, and I'm not seeing that here. Both with the 1.4X and the 2X, you see great contrast, the colors remain fantastic, and especially the clarity remains basically the same. I'm really impressed. And now the bad news, and I mean, some of this is just laws of physics, but first we need to talk about the autofocus speed. With the 1.4X, it seems just as fast, and in Africa, I was very happy with its performance. But in the Arctic, I was working on birds in flight a little bit more often, and I started to notice that with faster birds, there's just enough of an autofocus slowdown that they are not as sharp as I would like them to be. And when you back off the teleconverter and go straight to just the 100-400, absolutely a great number of shots are sharp and as I expect them to be. So autofocus speed slows down a little bit with the 1.4X and then noticeably with the 2X. And now that's something I've noticed when I'm just shooting with it, and even out the 800, you start to see it hunt a bit as well. So not quite as fast when you're using the teleconverters, and maybe even more of an impact for some of you, your aperture range gets severely decreased. And when you're working with the 2X teleconverter at 800 millimeters, your minimum aperture, or I should say maximum aperture, is f11. That is a humongous difference from f5.6 when you're working with just the lens, and dramatically cuts the amount of light that you're working with. That's going to require you to shoot at a much higher ISO, especially when you think about working at those shutter speeds that you need to create stable shots. Now, a quick word about those stable shots. I was actually really impressed. Shooting with the 2X teleconverter on a moving boat, I was shooting at shutter speeds down below 1/500th of a second and getting acceptably sharp images. But anytime it's critical that your images be sharp, and also your mileage may vary depending on how steady a person you are. I've got more discussion about this in my wildlife tips video. But anytime you want those critical shots, you should be at least 1 over your focal length, if not double your focal length to be safe. So if we're talking about 1/800th of a second plus f11, that's going to force your ISO, even in the brightest days, up above 100, where you're going to get more grain and more noise in your shots. So that's just something to be aware of. So to sum it up, I think the 100-400 paired with a 1.4 teleconverter is a great way to get additional reach with really very little drawbacks, except for those faster birds in flight and that autofocus speed. The 2X teleconverter with its slower focus and hunting and drastically reduced aperture, you need to be aware of that, but again, will still give you great quality as long as you aren't photographing anything moving fast. I hope you found this review helpful. If so, give it a quick thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe for more gear reviews, tips, tricks, and travel videos. And if you plan to purchase anything that I just mentioned, your use of those links right down below this video greatly helps what we do here at Photorec.tv. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.